Evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Phil Beckwith, the professional painter and decorator. You're on my YouTube channel. This, I don't want to say a moaning video again. There's been some videos that I've moaned about stuff. You've seen the thumbnail. Dulux Heritage. Have you tried it yet? Now, what I want to be talking about today is a job I did recently, and I used Dulux Heritage velvet mat. Are you sitting comfortably? I'm going to sit comfortably. I used Heritage velvet mat emulsion on the walls and the woodwork velvet eggshell. Do they call it velvet eggshell? I'm not sure. Now, I have to say, of all the Dulux products, the Heritage stuff's really good. I can't fault it. But I've got a bit of a moan, and I'm going to put some video, on this video I'm going to put some photos. Now, the customer picked a colour for his woodwork and we got it made up in the Heritage, and it came to me and I looked at it and I saw the label and I said to his wife, I says, "Oh, I thought you were going for white on the woodwork. I'm glad you've gone for an off-white." And she goes, "Oh no, we've gone for white." Now, there was a bit of I'll say a little bit of confusion on the husband getting the colours wrong and getting stuff mixed up. Not my fault, nobody to blame, but just a schoolboy error. Now, I did open this can of paint just to see this colour because I thought it was going to be white, and I mixed it up. Now, I'll put a photo there of what it looks like in the can. Now, can you see things? Can you see things in it? I was a bit, what is that? Didn't think much more to it because another can of paint was coming. So a couple of hours later, the correct colour that I wanted, which was like a white, as good as white, nothing more complicated than white, which I opened the tin, mixed it up with a proper mixing stick, and you know I keep telling you, stop mixing paint with canes and cylinder pipes and things. You can't mix paint properly like that. So I had a proper mixing stick. I've not got one with me now. Proper mixing stick, mixed it up, and I could see things in this paint, and I'm going to put some more photos there of what this paint looked like. There was bits in it, and this is a brand spanking new tin of Heritage Eggshell, Dulux Heritage Eggshell. There was bits in it. Now, I didn't make a thing about it. I didn't mention it to the customer, because to conquer and overcome, or overcome and conquer, or not to make a big thing out of it, I knew what I was going to do. I needed to see what was in this paint for why there was bits in it. And you can just see it there. I'll put the photo on again. You can see as I mixed it up, there was things on the surface which looked very similar to that original paint, which I'm putting another photo there of the original can. There was something in it. Now, what I did, I managed to get a clean bucket, a emulsion bucket, a clean emulsion bucket. I tipped out this paint and strained it through a vegetable bag that I buy from Lidl. You get 2 vegetable bags that are great for straining your paint for about 50p. If it's not vegetable bags, it's a pair of my wife's old tights that have got probably a ladder in them, and I'm on about a ladder of a hole, not a ladder as in decorators climb up ladders or window cleaners climb up ladders. And I strained all this paint. Now, once I'd strained this paint, it was a full 2.5 litre can. What I did, I got the empty tin of Dulux Heritage. I went to the sink, customer's sink, lovely kitchen, and I washed this can of paint out of any residue in their Belfast sink, leaving the sink all clean. Nobody had known I'd been there. I washed it all out. I washed the lid, so that can was perfect. You're following me, aren't you? Then I came back to the strained paint and I restrained it back into the tin with the vegetable bag and got a 2.5 litre tin of, I'll say perfect, no bits in this paint. Now, I wanted to know what these bits were because it hadn't been used. It was a new tin, and I've got a little bit of a grievance of why Dulux has to have a white, because it was white. It was OE 50, is it 53 or 55? Can't think off the top of my head. I'll put a caption. One's black and one's white. OE 55 5, I think, is white. I'm not sure, can't remember. So much goes out of my mind. And what I did, I re-strained it back into the tin, and then that bag, that vegetable bag that had strained the paint, I took it to the sink and I washed it out. Now you'll see some photos there of what was left in the bag of this vegetable bag for the straining of the paint. What do you think it is? The question of the day, what do you think was in that paint to put little bits in it that when I strained it and when I washed out that vegetable bag, straining bag, so I could see what these bits were, what are they? Now I thought it's something that's dried around the lid rim that's fell back in. Sometimes I think that paints sit on the shelf too long in the stock, you know, in the stock of the room, the stockpiled. The heaters are on and it dries a film of paint across the top, and then when it gets mixed on the mixer, because the white was being mixed, I've got to think about that. Why aren't whites straight off the shelf in a pre-made up can? I'm not sure. Why isn't it a stock core item, white? How do you mix white? I'm not sure, another question. But I wondered whether something had dried on that can, and same as the other can, and put stuff into the paint. But there's no way you could have painted without getting bits all over the surface that you were doing. Now I was doing doors, panel doors, skirting boards, frames, all the usual, the stuff that you'd be doing. And with those bits in it, it had looked pig's ear. But thankfully, because I strained it, and thanks to Lidl's vegetable bags, brilliant. Aldi do the same. You probably get them from Sainsbury's, Tesco, but you can buy vegetable bags quite cheaply to strain your paint. And it saved me bacon. It saved my bacon. Customers unaware about what the situation was. I did ring up the local branch of Dulux where I got the paint from. Spoke to the guy there, asked him to just look into if he's got any other problems with cans, to the point of opening a can that hadn't had any mix in it, getting it shook up on the mixer, then having a look at it again and see if you can see anything, because once it was shook up you could see these things floating on the surface, as you've seen on those videos. So my question is of the day, it is a question of the day, have you had the same sort of thing? I know there's certain manufacturers of paints that we all moan about, that skins are dropping off the side of the plastic, 10 litre tubs. This isn't a plastic 10 litre tub, they're metal cans, they're great metal cans. The paint is lovely, don't get me wrong. It's the nearest thing. If you're a decorator, a painter, a decorator that is still stuck in his ways, and I'm being tongue-in-cheek, stuck in your ways with using oil-based paint, you've got to start using the Heritage Eggshell, because it is the nearest thing that you would probably apply to a surface that you'd think it could be oil. It flows out nicely. You can put it over previously painted surfaces, rub it down, give it a good clean down. You can put 2 coats of this on, so it is like a proper oil eggshell, which is self-undercoating. You can put 2 coats of this on. If you're going over surfaces like what I was doing on that job that was bare wood, you build it up with, well, I built it up with 123 Zinza Bullseye 123 to stop any well, to prime it out more than anything else. Then I got the undercoat for this and I built it up. So in the end I did 4 coats, but that was to get the surface up to the standard that I wanted. If it was just a straightforward paint out, 2 coats of this, and I think anybody would be hard pushed to know the difference between this and an oil based. Well, other than there's no smell. But the paint is very good. The velvet matte for the emulsion on the walls, I love it. It's a lovely finish. It's hard wearing, it's a really nice finish. Got no problem with this paint, no problem with this Dulux paint. Just a little bit of a four-boil, whatever the word I want to use, and I'm making a word up. Why did it have bits in it when it was a brand new tin of paint? And what were those bits that have got a little bit of a, I don't know, you've seen the pictures, they were there. What were they? What was it that's made that paint have little bits in it? And on that note, I'm going to say, it's lovely paint, try it. There'll be some videos there. Thanks for listening. This is just a bit of a, let me vent to you. Let me vent and give us some comments. Have you had the same sort of thing? See you again.